Some people have a 5-year plan.
My name is Pat Ningewance.
Pat Ningewance, an Anishinaabemowin language keeper and educator, has a 50-year vision. It has to do with the revitalization of Indigenous languages.
5 years just goes like that. 50 years is a better way to look at our time here. Maybe even 100 years. What do we want our language to be 100 years from now?
In that half-century vision, she says broadcasters like APTN have a role to play.
You make movies. Write the scripts in Ojibwe or Cree, Dakota, so you're getting the real language, and train people who are fluent to act while we're still alive.
That's where APTN Languages comes in. In May, the CRTC gave APTN the green light to launch a new Indigenous Languages channel. On September 1st, APTN's 4 channels will be consolidated into 2, one with programming in English and French, and another, APTN Languages, completely dedicated to Indigenous languages.
This content is going to be made available to anyone who has a cable subscription across Turtle Island. And that means people who are from the far north, who are living down south in communities, can stay attached and connected to their language and their culture through APTN.
Since its inception in 1999, Omulus says APTN has broadcasted programming in 54 Indigenous languages. During the 2010 Winter Olympics, APTN's Rick Harp was tasked with hosting the world's first Indigenous language coverage of the event.
And for the last 17 days, a small army of APTN reporters, producers, cameramen, and technical people have done their part as they've roamed Vancouver covering these Olympic Winter Games.
The network found fluent speakers of 8 different languages and gave them a crash course in broadcasting.
There was just a real air, I think, a real buzz around that space, because we knew we were taking on something that at a scale and an intensity we had never quite done before, and I think we rose to the challenge, and I think we all felt a great sense of pride at having done it, at having made it through.
That paved the way for broadcaster Clarence Iron to call the shots on Hockey Night in Canada in Cree the following decade. Iron, who kept his Plains Cree language even through residential school, said the opportunity fulfilled a lifelong dream.
When you hear somebody speak your own language, it's alive. There's something there. It's hard to describe, but when you start listening to people that speak your own language, things starts happening. It's very amazing.
Now, in APTN's 25th year, Indigenous language programming will find a 24/7 home on APTN Languages.
This September, APTN is launching APTN Languages, a brand new channel dedicated to programs in Indigenous languages.
The channel's September schedule will bring programming in 18 Indigenous languages. The schedule begins with Atlantic region languages like Mi'kmaq, then heads north with programming in Innu and Inuktitut. It continues to the prairies with Anishinaabemowin, Cree, and Dene, and ends with West Coast languages like Salishan. The debut schedule includes Anana's Tent, a children's series about Inuit culture, which will air in Inuktitut. Producer Louise Flaherty says the show has been vital in exposing children to Inuktitut and Inuit culture.
Very important for APTN to air Indigenous languages and Inuktitut, because you can, once you take a film and it's there forever, right? Even as a producer, creator, when we pass on, that content is still there.
On October 13th, the Anishinaabemowin dub of Star Wars: A New Hope will premiere on APTN Languages. Ningewance, the lead translator on the film, hopes to see more original language content on the channel, a goal Omulus shares.
So rather than just versioning programs in Indigenous languages, where we want to go is producing programs in Indigenous languages with speakers doing the roles from beginning to end.
As language keepers like Ningewance nurture more fluent speakers, she says broadcasters like APTN Languages can help immortalize the language for future generations.
Train those who are learning the language to sound very much like us while they're acting, so that, because that's going to be what's going to be heard 50 years from now, 100 years from now.
APTN Languages launches on September 1st on cable and satellite services across the country. Check with your TV provider to find out how you can tune in. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.